All right, so my 15 minutes is up. I've come back and I've checked my batik, and it looks like my glue wants to come off pretty easily, meaning I kind of rub my finger over it and it's slipping off. So I know that this is ready for me to just start going all over and scrubbing all of the glue off now that it's starting to dissolve from the water. So you really want to make sure you are using warm water for this, because if you're using cold water, the process will be a lot slower. So the warm water makes it faster. Okay, so you can kind of use two things. You could use an old toothbrush, and this is nice for on the lines because it's small and it makes the glue kind of just wipe right off. But if you don't have a scrubber or an old toothbrush, that's okay. You can still just use your hands by dipping it in the water, rubbing it, or using your fingernail like that to kind of just scrape it off. And it's a little bit of a time-consuming process, but trust me, you really want to make sure that all of the glue is completely off for two reasons. One, you want your white lines to show up like this, so you can already see some of the glues coming off. And two, your batik will be all slimy and slippery if there's any glue on it, and it would be slightly blue because that gel glue has a blue color to it, and that wouldn't make your batik look very nice. So our goal is to get all of the gel glue off, really checking our batik completely over. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to start in a corner, maybe the lower left corner, just so I kind of know where I've already rubbed. And I'm taking my hands, I'm holding my batik in one hand, and with the other hand, I'm kind of scraping it with my thumbnails, dipping it in the water to kind of loosen that glue up. I'm just kind of twisting it, wiping that off, dipping it in the water to wipe it off as I go. If I have a toothbrush, I can kind of hold it like this and rub back and forth. You can almost see it sudsing up like soap. Dip it. You can even have the water running as you do this too, just to have the water running on your batik, or just dipping it back and forth. It's whatever you want. So I'm rubbing it. If there's any areas that have kind of a lot of glue, maybe like a circle or a dot like this, those are pretty stubborn. They kind of tend to want to stay on. So really give a lot of time and attention to those areas, and just rub, really making sure that those areas get all the glue off, because they seem to want to keep the glue more than just the lines. So you'll also notice in your pan or your sink, whatever you soaked it in, you'll see these little bits of paint. There's little bits of paint floating around, and that is all of the paint that was sitting on top of those glue lines. So when it mixed with the water, all those all those little bits of paint on top of the glue lines just literally fell right off. And that's what acrylic paint does. It's kind of like plastic. So when it mixes with that water underneath it, it just has to fall off. You can kind of see it sudsing up right there. I'm almost working in more than one area at a time, not just a single line. If your water gets too dirty while you're doing this, you can always dump it out and refill it, or just use your faucet running a little bit like that. All right. So keep moving around, keep scrubbing. All right, so you get the idea. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to scrub on my own time now that you kind of know how to do it on your own. And let's say that I have gone ahead and I have scrubbed my entire batik. So the water does do some work for you, but you have to scrub it as well for the glue really to fall off. Let's say I've done the whole thing. Then I'd go and starting in one corner and just with my hands, by touch, by feeling the fabric, and by sight, and by looking, what I'm doing is I am checking anywhere where I see glue. If I feel slimy glue underneath my hands, I know I need to scrub it a little bit more. So anywhere where I feel some extra glue that maybe I just missed over, I do not want to leave that. I want every single bit of gel glue gone from my batik. We don't need it anymore. It was only there to keep the white fabric, the white of my fabric, white. Okay, I will say something. Some of the little bits of paint that I was talking about likes to stick on top of the fabric once it's kind of all soaking around in here. If you see that, it probably means it's time for you to dump your water and get new water. But if you do see it, just kind of wipe it off and then it will come off. You don't want to keep those little bits of paint staying on your fabric. Okay, so let's pretend I've scrubbed this whole thing. Then what I want to do is take my batik, just kind of gently squeeze it. I don't want to like wring it and twist it like that. Just kind of squeeze it in a ball best I can. And then I can take this outside, this little ball outside, or just put it on a counter wherever I have some space. And I want to lay it out flat. I'm going to want to lay it out flat, kind of like this, almost like when you were painting it or putting your, or drawing on it, so that it will kind of lay flat. You don't want to just lay it all crumpled up, because it will kind of, it will dry all crumpled up with a bunch of wrinkles. And y'all, that's the second to final step. After you have it all laid out, then you're going to take your phone or a camera and you are going to take a picture from above. So just like this video is from above from a sink, you want your phone, your camera to be above so you can see the entire batik, and then you're going to upload it to your assignment, or you are going to email it to me in my emails in our lesson. Well guys, if you have made it this far, congratulations, because this is a long process, but I hope that you enjoyed it and felt like it was worth it, because this looks so beautiful. And I can't wait to show you guys. All right, y'all, good luck.